Hello, my name is Kim Lucas, and it's nice to see you all here in the sign language class. And I'm sorry that I can't use my voice. You are learning sign language. I'm just kidding. Anyways, I am from Guatemala, in Central America. And I was born there. I grew up with my hearing family, a deaf sister, and right now she is in Gallaudet. I also graduated from Gallaudet in '86, majoring in computer science. And many of you know that I'm a computer science or a computer whiz in school. It's not really true. I want to tell you a story about what happened to me and in my lifetime. Back in 1977, 76, let me think about that. February 4th in 1976. At 3 o'clock in the morning, I was still asleep on my bunk bed. My sister slept on the bottom and I slept on top. Suddenly, I felt a shaking. Everything was moving. The bed was moving, and it was a disaster. I thought my sister was moving the bed, so I told her to stop moving the bed. I looked at the time, and of course, I couldn't see, so I look over in the corner where I have a light, and I looked at the time, and all of a sudden the light went out, and I thought, how does my mom know I'm awake right now? I looked over and then back to the light, and it was still out. It was just really strange feeling because the light never goes out during the night. And I thought, whatever. So I just lay there and I was staring, looking up at the white ceiling, and I thought maybe it was an earthquake. I've never felt an earthquake before, and it really scared me. So I pulled the sheet over my head, and like the sheet is really going to help protect me from the ceiling falling through. It was really silly to think that, but I was 13 years old. I was very young to really understand what was happening. So as I was peeking over the white sheet, I saw the front of the door facing me. No, it was a mirror. I saw my brother was running around, and I noticed like an orange fire. It looks like a bright burning fire. I didn't smell any smoke or anything, but it just fire. And so my mom came into my room with a candle. Hey, mom, what happened? What happened? Is that an earthquake? And my mother said, yes, get your shoes on right now. Come on, the electricity is not working right now. And my sister was just, what is going on? What are we doing? I want to sleep some more. And I told my sister it was an earthquake. Come on. And my sister thought, you were lying. It is not an earthquake. Suddenly she became white as a ghost. Normally she's a tan person, but her face turned white as a ghost. And I told her, come on, get your shoes on. Mom said to get your shoes on. So we got our shoes on and our coats. It was my mother, myself, my sister, my baby brother, and I, and the reason that we had to put our shoes on is because we were all walking on glass. It was all over the place. So we were walking, and we walked into my mother's bedroom, and my dad had already left the house, and it was just really strange to be there without my dad. So we all got into bed. We shared the king-size bed. We were all laid side by side, and we were holding on to the person next to us. My brother was on my right side, and my mother was on the left. So all night, we felt the earthquake for 3 hours. It was constantly making me upset, and I was having nightmares and everything. So I was afraid that we were going to fall through. or anything. Finally, that kind of calmed down after about an hour, and I started to go to sleep. And I went through the same nightmare again. And I was hanging on the crack screaming for help. Like we've seen in the movies or anything. And the shaking woke me up again, and I just began to feel really sick. By the time it reached about 6 o'clock, around 6 o'clock in the morning, um, um, all I could see was gray out of the window. So I was starting to get out of bed to touch the floor. And as soon as I was afraid that if I touched the floor, it was going to cause a bunch of shaking again. So we had to be really quiet. And I thought maybe something was punishing me or my family or whatever, like my mom, she, you know, um, um, I was told to sit down. So I sat down and I was like, I don't feel anything. And I was told that the window, that they hear shattering. And I'm like, I don't hear anything. I'm deaf. And my sister is deaf as well. So she didn't feel any shaking either. But outside the window, it was really gray looking. People were walking outside and it was full of dust in the air. And so we waited for it to clear up outside. And my mom was cooking, and I was sitting there, and I was thinking, should I go get dressed in the bedroom? Or so I asked my sister, do you think we should? And so I said, let's go together. So we went together into my bedroom, and we looked around, and very carefully we opened the closet, we picked out our clothes, and then we changed and got ready really fast. So we went back. We and I asked my sister if I was scared, and if she was scared, and she said yes. So I asked my sister if she was scared and what she thought we should do. That we were kind of boring. So for the next earthquake to hit us, at that time, my sister was very oral. She didn't know a whole lot of sign language. She used oral and her facial expressions. So someone came up and said that her stomach was hurting. I really just felt upset. Go ahead and eat. I can't eat anymore. Coffee, make sure you drink all the coffee. All the family members. And I asked, do we have to go to school? My mom said, no, school is closed today. Do not have to go to school. I heard from the radio, so I got really excited. So we get to play all day, and that was fine. Specifically, my family spoke English, and they spoke Spanish. And then we played outside. We went ice skating or roller skating. I noticed.
Are you Mickey? Oh, okay.
The floor. We looked. And they spoke Spanish. They were very nice. And then we got to play outside and go roller skating. Everything was very clear. You could see people walking outside. And, like, we lived on the second floor. My mother's office is or was all of a sudden we felt the shaking again, so we took off running. It really scared us. It was very difficult. We've seen the movie where you notice something like in '88, where they show a movie recently. Anyways, well, it was really awful. So my dad went out of town, and they heard that something happened. So he flew back. He has a private jet, so he flew back. And when he landed, their airport refused to let them only emergency airplanes only, not private jets, just emergencies only. So all of my family, they were very, everything was okay. My family was all right. My house was not damaged at all. It stood there just fine. There was no cracks or anything. We looked all over it and we thought, well, that's weird. We can't have that. We didn't have any cracks. That's impossible. We should have some places with cracks. Remember, in the house, people. My aunt came and she saw us. She was crying, and I'm like, "What? What, Mom? I don't understand. What is my aunt saying?" And she's crying. Everything's all right. I'm happy. I'm just so happy. And I'm like, "What is wrong?" I couldn't get her attention or anything. I didn't understand. It was really hard to lip read her. So I waited until, my father, he's an expert on the top of the building on the 5th floor. And she lived up there. Her and her dog. And her dog ran before the earthquake hit us. Now, how did the dog know? The dog was constantly barking. My aunt was like, what? She was trying to figure out what was wrong. The dog just ran out and continued to go crazy. The dog just ran around the place, and the condo had the elevator, and my aunt constantly was chasing my dog around everywhere. The dog was barking in the car. So at 2 or 3 in the morning, I don't know, they may be making it up. Really, my aunt and her dog, they're like the same person. My dog is like my cousin. So as they were driving, suddenly the car was like moving side to side. She didn't know where she was going, up the hill, outside, under the basement in the parking garage. And the earthquake finally finished. It was so scary. The dog constantly ran, and I didn't understand. That's when she came, and we saw that she was crying, and then she was happy and everything was fine. And I thought she must leave the country. Let's buy tickets with the house. Everyone was satisfied for about a week. My dad was like, okay, calm down, everything's fine. After we finish shopping, we'll buy a ticket, and we'll stay. everything is clear and they'll come back.